Now, we were a church of about 25 families when we decided to make the switch. And I stood in my pulpit on a Sunday morning and basically just said, we are going to become a Christian Reconstructionist church. We are going to embrace the Reformed faith with all the vigor that God gives us. I said to my people, you followed me when I had no theology. Follow me now as we learn this together. We were your typical evangelical, born-again, spirit-filled, activist church. Our theology was a mile wide and about an inch deep. We were sincere, and I believe that's why God kept us together all those many years and blessed our efforts. But we had reached a point where He was demanding maturity. We had reached a point where we were realizing there's no such thing as neutrality. We were reaching the point where we were finally aware of the fact that you can't beat something with nothing. And so in our long odyssey, that odyssey to become epistemologically self-conscious, that was the jumping off point that Sunday. And then we set about to systematically teach the Reformed faith, starting with a virile Calvinism first, which we believe is the starting point, followed up by an optimistic and victorious postmillennial eschatology. Then I did 18 months teaching the 10 Commandments. We became covenantal in our worldview, and then we became Knoxian in our social theory. In other words, we liked the idea that there was greatness in the Great Commission, this idea that, you know, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus really was enough to accomplish His plan in time and history. We liked the idea that when He said on the cross, it is finished, that's exactly what He meant. We like the idea of His suggestion in the Lord's Prayer that everyday Christians, disciples, those who loved Him, whose hearts burned for Him, needed to pray every single day, Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth, where the battle takes place, as it is in heaven. We were smart enough to know that in heaven the battle's done. We realized that in heaven there are no wicked, there is no sin, there is no fight up there. The fight is here in time and history where Christians have been called to the kingdom. And so putting all those things together, all of this new theology started to really take form and shape, not only in our hearts where it must begin, but in our day-to-day living. And so after 5 years, what we realized we had was finally the wedding of charismatic zeal, but tied to Christian orthodoxy. And we believe finally we have the tool of dominion now. When the day comes where the zeal of the charismatic movement, which indeed is blessed of God, is finally wedded to sound Christian orthodoxy, we're going to see something in the earth that will cause people to look and to listen. And I believe we're on the beginning edges of that. My own background speaks of that. No one could ever take us to task for a lack of zeal. But zeal without knowledge is very, very dangerous. It's up to the pastors now to start reading those materials and breaking it down, as God has gifted us with an ability to do. What our job has to be is to take those fat books and break them down, as it were, into the threefold glossy pamphlets, something that our people can understand. When we do that, and as we do that, and as we combine that with day-to-day, week-by-week, month-by-month, street activity and acts of mercy, God is going to bless local churches like we have never seen before. It's just called the Great Commission.